What's up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Roll Q. Today, I've got some of the best supports to ever do it joining me here on the table. We got iRaffer from Renegades, JeffHindla from Space Station, Neirumah from SK, and of course, Trixtank from Dignitas. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to start with what's going on in today's meta right now. What did junglers ever do to you guys to deserve the treatment that they're getting? I mean, I know that they complain about their role, they get speed buff, they gank your lane at level 2. And it's all kind of come back to you guys harassing the jungler at level 1. Do you like playing this style? Do you like trying to screw over the enemy jungler, Raffer?
I would if it was adapting, just because I know it tilts him. But personally, I don't really like that sort of play style, but I'll definitely adapt to it. If someone requires me to play that way, I would. But it is troll.
Yeah,
I think it's so troll.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good group. Jeff, you're probably the only one that doesn't love it quite as much.
No, yeah, I definitely prefer laning. That's just what I've been doing forever. I prefer, the 3 to 8 minute laning thing, and I'm fine with going and invading or starting at this weird section of the map or blocking this person or literally just going to their speed to their red and doing nothing for 7 minutes and being level 4. But I'll do it, but I'd prefer to lane.
Fair enough. How about for you guys?
You're not having fun. I'm having fun. So
yeah, this is your ideal start.
I definitely like invading. It's just kind of sucks when it goes bad, Well, I mean,
I remember.
Was Neil the one who started it?
I mean, he was one of the. I mean, that's where we got it from, at least in the start. That's why I was like, nope. That was so annoying, but I love it. I love not getting gank level 2 in my lane, so I am perfectly fine being at the jungle, knowing where he is and following him every single move.
That's super smart. You don't want to get ganked to level 2 in lane, so you just leave.
Exactly.
He does the ganking himself.
Right, you do the ganking yourself. I mean, when your team was first like, hey, we really like this idea of you getting no experience whatsoever.
That depends if you get the buffs, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, we love the idea of you 50-50ing all of your experience in the early game. Were you like, what? What was that conversation initially like?
I think in the start, everybody was just like, go for the 50-50 and hopefully the better player gonna win that, right? But I think it's gotten way more calculated now, so people don't take the risk in that sense. So now they put 2 at speed, but then you do something else, maybe invade their blue buff, or you do the RNG start now, just take the safe start and start with at your speed buff and go to red, so you get some experience. So I think it's just it's gotten way more calculated.
Yeah, I mean that is a big start that you really pioneered, Raffer, and your team kind of at MSI, that safer route. Was that just born of, I don't want to 50-50 all my farm and I can get more guaranteed stuff here?
It was just Cherry. Cherry said, initially it was me starting in solo, so this is a funny story. And then Nika went, we could proxy. And I went, sure, I've got sprint. And he said, okay. So I just randomly sprinted to the wave. We died.
But you got there real fast.
We got there fast, cleared the buffs, cleared the wave, and I'm there just trolling. And I tried running past the tier 2, I'm pretty sure. And then he chased me, killed me. And I'm like, that was worth it. And Nika's like, just F6, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not having him in my lane ever again. And Cherry that night thought, Raffer could just start with me, no one else wants him. I'll take him. And I went with Cherry with his open arms. It's like,
no one else wants him.
No one else wanted me, man.
Fun baller, get the hell away from my farm. Dardes just silently staring at you, I imagine, not really telling anything.
Dardes loves me. He wants me to start his lane. I just know he does.
Okay, fair enough. Guys, I think that in a lot of games, not just Smite, but MOBAs, first-person shooters, whatever, no one really... I don't mean as many people that want to be the support player. Everyone wants to do all the damage. They want to, do the cool stuff. What made you decide to play support? Because I feel like it's not necessarily always the most popular choice.
I mean, I've actually played a lot of different roles. I was solo and support has been my 2 roles. The reason for support is just the fact that I think my mechanics are possibly worse than the way I communicate and can lead a team, possibly, that's all I'm saying.
Possibly, maybe.
But I think that's why support fit me, because I'm pretty good at leading, pretty good at being communicative, talking, and the support usually have the bigger picture of the whole map and everything. So
bigger brain as well.
Yeah, the bigger brain as well. So you gotta engage as well. That's my style. So I think it just fit me for that reason.
Makes sense. How about for you, Neil?
I used to play jungle, I remember, and then I would just have my supports bait me, and I would be Thor, and I'd be like, we should fight here, and everyone's like, yeah. Everyone agreed, yeah, we should fight. It's okay, someone's getting in there, right? They're like, no. I'm just Thor, I'm up in the air spinning my hammer, I guess I'm getting in there. And I just die, and I'm like, this why don't I just play support, man? Like, that's actually what started. Not kidding. Like, seriously, I was just sitting there and I was like, no one's engaging. Like, it's just so easy. You just go in there, and it doesn't even matter if you die. Just go in. And so I switched to playing support, and I just played that for a while. I actually really liked it. I think it fit me pretty well. Yeah.
Even though you still want to play your Hachimons and that kind of stuff, which can work in support, of course.
I mean, yeah, they have a lot of potential. I mean, a little bit less peel on Hachimon, but I mean, with Pridwin now, you can ride in there. You have a shield. You have a nice stun followed up. So
right.
You can
That's two
definitely-
slows
yeah.
back to back
Yeah.
off the ult. and
Yeah,
the
like
Pridwin.
Raffer said, you have big brains. So I mean, just gotta be theory crafting a little bit. Can't be too stale.
We'll get back to that in a little bit, I promise you. How about for you, Jeff? What made you want to play support?
I started off as mid lane pretty much when I was playing by myself, and then once I started playing with other people, I kind of like Neil. I want to be the one engaging and starting it. I also wanted to be the one who's defending the backline, and no other role really gets to do that other than support. You also just get to be a second jungler. You can gank, you can run around the map. Like you, as support, you get to do everything. Like that, your job is to do all of it except one-shot people. That's
Sure.
pretty much all you can do.
Well, in this
Sometimes.
meta,
Yeah.
you're the same
Yeah,
level as the mid
sometimes.
laners these days. You kind of can. How
Yeah.
about for you, Raffer? You were a jungler initially too,
Yeah,
right?
so I was jungle. We got absolutely dumpstered to SK. I think it was SK at the time. With Rios, Badger, those guys. Absolutely annihilated us. And I got blamed for that set. And I was like, I don't know. Guess I make a new team. So initially I started to make a team as a jungle. And I didn't trust any of the supports that were available. There was just no one available. I wanted Half Devil at the time. And it dates back to me actually begging him. I was saying, I can't support. You need to play support for us so I can jungle. And he kept saying, no, he's adamant. So I was like, I guess I'll go support, boys.
Then you picked up some scrub by the name of Kenneth, right?
Yeah, we picked up a Datdin then. It was kind of memey because I was just playing the jungle, but as support, I was playing Thana and Thor and just trolling around. But it worked. And it was just a long process, but I ended up over the time becoming like this peeler, being able to play like both roles so I can carry as a support and peel. And then I think that randomness, people don't know how to play against me because I can do either or.
Sure.
And I feel like that's what the surprise factor brings out the best of people. Because you're not as predictable.
Sure.
And I just enjoyed that play style, so that's why I stuck with support.
Yeah, I think that there's I mean, you hear it all the time across Twitter and Reddit and streams and that kind of stuff. Like, man, I feel like I'm playing support and ranked and I have no impact on the outcome of the game. I have to rely so much on my other teammates. Do you guys feel the same way? I feel like support, I feel like I lose the majority of my ranked games because their support is way outplaying
I
mine.
actually think that jungle and support is probably the two most impactful roles in rank. Like I love playing like Nesha, whatever, and just dumpstering the lane, and then you start rotating. You're the second jungle, therefore you're outnumbering them in the mid lane, in the soul lane always. So you have a huge impact at support for sure. So no.
Yeah, I think it's a big misconception. Do you guys
That's
agree?
100% correct, that statement. I agree with that. I think I'll go on it more. I think it's because, as Trix said, you outnumber them. But I feel like a worse player with more farm is going to beat the better player just because farm is so, farm is so like good in Smite.
Right.
And the amount of times I see, I don't know, let's say Zap get soloed. Obviously that's zapping ranked.
No.
But
That is
that is the typical rank player, They hold W, they go in. It's obviously different with Zap in the SPL most of the time.
Sometimes.
But you know what I'm saying, just from that point. You get someone more farm, they're probably going to outshine in the lane.
Yeah, fair enough. Guys, you guys have all been playing for a long time. Neil, probably a little bit less on the competitive end. But for you three, I mean, you guys have been around since basically the very beginning. What are some of your favorite metas that you've ever played in as a support? Do you miss the hog days?
Yes.
Do you that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Was that your favorite?
That was
Serious,
my
man?
favorite by a mile. I can't even count how many objectives I've stolen over the days. I also miss when you could buy double active in the start, so you could like buy Blink Huck or like just buy double active in the start basically. But no, I miss the Huck because I feel like, I mean, then again, you have to like organize it now, and it's probably better for the competitive scene and not having. But I do miss the fact that you can just go in solo and actually steal the 5 giant. I still do sometimes, but it's harder.
I mean, were you the one who pioneered the blink over red buff wall, hog it, and run away?
It didn't go that well after that, but I did get the red buff. So it
You
was-
still won that set, didn't
We
you,
won
as
that
well?
set.
Yeah, it's against us.
Yeah.
It's a hell.
I remember it was just adapting, like camping me so hard. We actually had a decent lane after that. We stole the red buff, got ahead in XP, so like everything was actually good. But then adapting on Circuit back then just pumping me. So
Yeah, Circata, good.
yeah, back then he was OP.
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah,
was
I'll
when he
say.
was really really strong.
For sure. How about for you, Neil? What's one of your favorite metas?
I like the eager meta kind of around. I think that was season 3 Worlds where
Yeah.
they just ran it down. Like that was a really fun meta. You started in mid a lot of times, it's not at speed, and you fought a lot. So I really enjoyed that meta, and I actually really enjoyed last year around Worlds meta as well. It's a lot of like aggressive supports. You're running it down, dual lane. Just a lot of any meta really where you're fighting a lot was a lot of fun for me. I thought, yeah.
Running it down.
Yeah, running it
is the
down.
big one for sure. How about for you, Jeff? You've been around for a lot of metas.
Yeah, pretty much any meta that is lane centric is what I enjoy the most. I remember like when you were talking about like the season 3 meta, I think, where it was 3 people sit at speed blue and then you lost at 30 seconds. I personally like I would much rather like 4 or 5 minutes play like some form of 2v2 and then have it gradually form into a lead than feel like I've won or lost on the spot.
Sure. So it was what, like season 1 was a lot
season
of
1,
laning?
season 2-ish probably.
Okay.
And then like I like season 5 though. Yeah, season 1, season 2, and then middle of season 5.
Okay. Fair enough. How about for you, Raffer?
Let me think. My favorite meta is probably triple girdle, double med, 5-man mid. I think that's a pretty good meta.
Yeah.
That's
a new one.
Yeah, one of the new metas. Tried it a few times in scrims. It's going really
Good
well.
success. Yeah.
Good success. Losing about 13 minutes, I think it was. But,
Nothing you could do about
but in all seriousness, it's pretty boring. The meta I was like kind of like Trix the hog, because you remember when you could red hog, where you'd hog it just before the threshold, just for it to go in the hog range. You remember the red one? I mastered it finally after like weeks and weeks of practicing it, because you did it against us once and my team was salty. I was like, I'm gonna master that. Got patched the patch after. I had this marker on my screen, so every time I'd hit it, and then it took away the marker and I was hitting it every time, and then got patched away.
Wow, you really put a marker on your screen?
Yeah,
so you had to
yeah.
line it. You'd get to the buff and line it up.
Yeah,
to match the
I'm
marker.
5-manning it down mid now.
That is too funny, man.
That was fun times.
That was too funny. Hinduman, big support player, always says he misses Hog.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's a popular opinion. There's no way.
I loved Hog except for the fact that I had to buy it every game.
Sure.
But hogging itself, like hogging Fire Giants, it was the best secure.
Yeah.
And you just got to, like you said, steal everything. Like you're the Alquang ult now. It's just that simple. Yeah, you were
I
secure.
thought it was great,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, only for
And then
objectives though. I'd say I didn't really like it on buffs. I didn't like the
That
level
was
1
annoying.
invading
Yeah,
with
agreed.
buffs. Obviously, it's more your playstyle.
I love that.
I
That
didn't
was-
like it, but objectives, I thought it was perfect because you could blink, hog, steal.
When did they have Hog stun?
That
You
was
guys- was that Hog stun?
That was where
that
Hog
was
was
at some
absolutely
point.
broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Tier 3 of
crazy.
it, you could buy
Yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
no, it didn't have percentage on the objectives at that time.
Oh, so it was just
Just-
raw damage
So
on
they
it and then
removed,
Hog
they
stun?
removed the objective secure, but then they got the stun in, and you
Yeah.
know I liked it still because you still had like I think it was like 600 damage on the Fire Giants. So
I
sure.
think Hog stun was so
Yeah, it was
underrated.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Because
sick.
So
I
good.
used to get roll into a knock up and you'd hog them and they'd go up and down on a spot.
Right.
And then you'd 2 them and they'd go up and down on the same spot. And that was the combo. We used to do that on Energy.
That's so funny that
Also-
we're talking about Hog Stun, because I was just talking about it earlier today with some of the designers. And undisputed, best Hog Stun character was Kukulkan. The blink Hog Stun into guaranteed ult. How do you stop it? Trix, what are you looking at me like that for, man? That's like 1,500 damage.
I mean that's true. It's true. Blink hug. Yeah. Go Kukulkan.
Magi's
It sounds
pretty
good.
good item though, you know.
I
I wish he was in the game so I could just break Magi's. That was so annoying.
just for Magi's cloaks alone. Do you guys think that if Hog, I mean, how good would Hog have to be to come back and see play in the meta today?
Oh, right now it would be picked up immediately.
Yep. 100%.
Right now,
question.
especially this meta. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I can solo invade versus 2 easy.
But I mean, the jungler's gonna get it too, right? It would be junglers.
Yeah, but then
and
it
solo.
doesn't
Then he has
matter.
a
That's
hog.
perfect.
You're
Then he
right
has a
now.
hog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You just buy 5 hogs. Everyone
Exactly, yeah, we go
everyone
right
just run
back to it.
yeah.
But
Clear midwave instantly.
Remember when
What
you
can you
could
do?
hog the
Yeah.
whole wave?
That was-
there was
that
no
was
cap
fun.
to the
I love that.
minions. Holy lord, dude!
I
that
think
was some
junglers would be
nonsense.
really depressed if Hawk came back right now, but I would absolutely love it. I'm praying every day. Honestly.
for Hog to return.
Yes.
Okay, well, I was gonna bring up what some changes that you guys would want to see potentially, and let's assume that Hog is staying in the grave where it belongs. By the way, Jeff, we'll start with you because I imagine yours is gonna be more lane centric.
Yeah, for sure.
What would it take for supports to go back to laning for the first few minutes of the game?
I have no idea. I think it's more of a player thing. I don't think people are like, honestly, I don't think people are really dumb enough to start in lane anymore. Like with how the game is currently set, you'd have to change a lot of things to make, or have some kind of strategy like where you're ganking early and then pressuring something out. But right now, just giving them solo farm and then being like, cool, I have no experience, but you have no experience. You're a jungler. I'll be fine. You can't participate anymore though. I'll be fine. Like right now, it's just way too strong. Like you have to change a lot of values to make it not good.
Sure. So if let's say that's a little bit too complicated, then what is, a simpler change that would put support in an area where you'd be happy? I mean, I think support's probably in a pretty decent spot already right now, but if you can make a buff to the class, what would you do? Could be an item, could be, I mean, if you guys want, if Trix, you want to put Wukong knock up?
Something silly like Thebes, just another catch-all, this is just great item. I guess we have Pridwin, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're
Buff
like,
Pridwin
man,
again.
Yeah, buff for, give me back
Give it
that.
10
Honestly, give me the 10 prots back and take a little bit more damage off. There you go.
but that is the damage. What do you mean? The prots are the damage on it, right?
Just cut some of the damage. Lower that value.
Why is no one building that anymore, by the way? Is it just the 10 prots?
I think it's still good because it has 10% CDR, but I think
It's
it's
20%.
just 20%. Sorry, yeah, that's why people still pick it up a little bit. But I just think there's a lot of gods where it's not completely as useful one. So now you just like there's so many other good items that you want instead, like Relic Dagger,
Exactly, yeah.
other Ara items like Sov or so on. So I just think that people have like the gods that's not 100% good with it, they just don't build it anymore.
It kind of slows down your build, it feels like.
Yeah.
And also, it has 20% CR, which is good, but it kind of triggers me that if I want to do a normal build, I'll be over the cap, and you can't have that.
Can't be having that. I mean, then
So
you're
you
just
kind of
not
just can't
paying
build it,
attention. So 10% CDR would be a buff.
Exactly.
To the
yeah.
item.
So when you get your
Gotcha.
500 pot, like you're 40%, you're feeling good.
Mwah. Perfect. Trix, what sort of buff would you make to the class?
To the class itself, I don't know. I think to Smite, I think that you just make speed buff spawn at 30 seconds. That way, like the whole, like I just think the start is too messy right now. I think Smite is way too messy. And even though I like it and the fact that I can theocraft around it, I just still think it shouldn't be that messy because any team could win. And I feel like even though you're the best team and you have like such good strategies, like normal strategies, you won't be able to just win, And in a sense, I feel like that's a little bit wrong. So making speed buff spawn at like 30 seconds, now you can make the speed buff invade. So now you can invade rep buff instead.
Sure.
If they want to do so. Like there's so many things you can do, and probably that will make like people starting in dual lane again.
Okay. How about for you, Neil?
I kind of thought Twig's idea wasn't that bad. Just having something where the jungler can be on the map at some point before other players, because the problem is like, the reason people aren't starting to do it is because invades are so strong, right? Like you just need to be around speed because people are running there, and if your jungler doesn't get to play the game and theirs does, it just feels so bad. So something like that I think would be a really good change to the game. I also think that I've been saying this for like since like last World. I think double health pot is so stupid. It's just
being able to go chalice.
so
health pot.
skillless. Yeah, like you have like 8 health bars like combined. You can literally just run at someone, take your health bar back up for like 10 seconds. You're already topped again. I think that's just so silly that you can just pay have so many health bars. Like it really mitigated a lot of the pressure. Especially in dual lane, I remember last year, it was really annoying. I don't think that health chalice and health pot should overlap.
Yeah, junglers brought that up as a reason why you can't gank solo early.
Yeah, I just think it's so silly. Like,
get so much regen.
just not a lot of skill around that. They just heal past.
Well, they
like
did
20.
press 2 buttons. Neil.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
pretty tough.
I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah.
there is some skill
might press your
involved.
chalice an extra time and might overlap.
Right,
Might
you
lose
can't
a
be
little
doing
bit of time.
that.
That's pretty
like
tough.
maybe you're on console and it's like click in left thumbstick
Yeah,
and A
maybe.
for a consumable. They forget to click in the thumbstick, then they beads by accident.
Yeah,
You've
that's
lost
tough.
the lane. Like there's
That's
skill
tough.
there, Neil. All right, well, just keep that in
believe
mind. Raffer, how about for you? What sort of change would you like to see for
It
supports?
kind of just it's 2 points. One kind of just reinforces their points. I think that there should be a shield that somehow covers half of the map and it doesn't break until minions pass. So that might be at 28 seconds, 30 seconds. So then the jungler can actually go to speed, backs and then blue, and then the game starts as the minions break through. So the jungler wouldn't be, out of the game as such at the beginning by some support who's giving them a headache.
Sure.
So there's that. And I think that there should be a new item that it might be OP, but it's kind of like a pudge pluck, on Dota where you can pull
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
So you can pull your teammates towards you or at least push them. So it might kind of like add this skill cap to support where you can push your teammates out of abilities, allow them to juke. But obviously you'd get the griefers who just randomly start pushing people into towers and stuff.
Sure. Can I tell you guys I've pitched this for numerous gods, a cool support ultimate. All right, picture this. It's like a Thor ult, right? But so you like go up, but you bring a teammate with you. And then instead of you going to the targeter, you just throw them. They're like on their red buff. You're like, have my Bologna, and you just like throw it into the fire giant pit. Your ADC's like inting in a team fight. You blink in, pull him up into the air, and throw him back to base to save his life.
Yeah.
These are cool plays that could be made,
Maybe
right?
maybe you could just revamp Hercules so he just picks someone up and throws them.
That would be sick.
Throw him across the world.
All right, now we're starting to get the creative juices flowing. I like it.
It would be fun though.
Right?
Just do it to teammates.
Yeah,
Throw
smack them into the tower.
Get into that fountain. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna end the game, maybe they need to hit the fountain a little bit earlier to buy an item. You're helping them out. I
That'd be
mean,
awesome. Throwing them back so they don't have to TP back.
yeah, that's true. What if it was global? You could just throw them literally anywhere. They just like rotate over to Gold Fury or like, hey, someone's pushing right, and you just toss them
I don't
over
think
there.
Cherry would appreciate. I'd literally throw him into the enemy fountain and kill down.
I think Zap would like that in ranked. I'd queue with him. He'd be like, get me in there. I'll be, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Here you go. Just toss them right in there for sure. What are some common misconceptions about support? Everyone thinks your job is to just be super behind, body block some auto attacks, and be level 6 while I'm level 10 all the time. But when you talk about what your job is as a support, what do you think that is, and how does that differ from the public perception?
I think, I mean, obviously, it's mainly the boring things. I think that support has a way bigger impact than that people think. For example, now it is to hold the jungle under control. So if you're a good support player, you can actually shut the jungle down by yourself. Already then, you probably got the biggest role in the team right there, because if you can shut him down, then the game is basically won, because your jungle's going to be level 10 and he's going to be level 5, you know?
Sure.
But I also think it's just making sure that your team is in control and having the word control. Like you're basically the stable, the basics of like the whole map, like where the vision goes and everything. So I think just people have a conception.
Yeah, misconception.
There you go. That support doesn't really bring a lot to the table, but I think they have a big impact in the game.
Yeah, you're just a walking ward, right?
Right.
That's all you're
Yeah.
supposed to be. What do you think, Neil?
I agree with that. Like what Trix is saying, just the amount of impact the sport has. I think a lot of times you'll watch, at least for me, I'll watch matches and I'll say like, oh, this sport literally won in the team fight, and it just kind of flies under the radar because you don't do damage, right? There's a lot of times there's supports making these crazy good plays, creating a ton of space for their team. And I think after like the point of the game when the jungler's maybe like level 12, the support starts becoming the playmaker and really shaping the team fights that are going to happen. I think that a lot of times that kind of goes unnoticed. Whether it be like someone blink and upgrade her fix the whole team, that's game winning right there if you do something like that, right? And I think a lot of times that kind of flies under the radar, and I think that people don't really appreciate that to some extent. But I kind of understand too, because it's not that flashy. You're not doing damage. You're not killing people. So I think it just kind of goes under the radar a little bit of how much and how impactful some support plays can be.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about for you, Jeff?
Yeah, pretty similar. Your job is not only to peel for a carry. Your job is to do what you're saying. Blink horrific, blink ult, like stop people, and then when you're done doing that, you can still run at people, make more room. You shove them back. Your front line comes, or your back line comes up, destroys this, and you make this huge amount of room. And people think it's like, no, you just have to peel.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I died in the back line, where were you?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like that, at all times, if I'm dying as a backliner, then that's your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
sometimes off camera, like you're a Kumba or something, you peel a Kali for the whole team fight.
Yep.
Kali's going to carry their game.
Yep.
Off camera, never gets seen. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, like
yep.
that was such a good team fight. So and so did such a thing so well, right?
Right. Like, man, that
Yeah.
Kali's got to do more of that
Yeah,
team fight.
yeah, it's like, yeah, well,
she couldn't.
She couldn't play the game
Yeah, there
you
because Kumba Karna was a thing.
Yeah.
Hate Kumba, by the way.
Yeah.
Raffer, how about for you?
I think that people expect the supports just to plant the wards, like, and that's it.
Right.
Whereas, you could have spent 50 gold and bought a ward yourself.
I
could have bought a health
pot
pot with that.
Yeah, mana pot, multi-pot even.
And tanked more.
Right.
But I think that's the problem people have. They just think, oh, the support will ward, and then they end up getting ganked. It's like, well, where's my peel? Where's that support? Always the support to blame.
Exactly. And that's definitely the big thing. I mean, support's historically the scapegoat of all games.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. Always.
I remember. All right. So when you asked what I wanted buffed, I want the word restriction lifted
You
because
just want to place as many
I
as you
want to
can.
place as many as I can because
That big
that's
Oracle
still
Chow
a thing.
is so busted.
That's still a thing, even in competitive. They still it's just like, oh no, you'll ward. It's fine. Like, you know what? Just let me ward at this point.
I think they're already too broken, to be honest. I think wards are busted.
Yeah, no, they're crazy.
super-
And
They
then people just don't want to buy them for some reason. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like, you spend 50 gold and you just never die, like 100 gold, you just never die. And people are like, nah, I'm good, man. Just be there.
I'll die.
Okay, yeah, health pot, yeah.
Maybe just know where they are at all
Yeah,
times, guys.
okay.
Come on. That leads us very nicely into my next point. Some of your biggest pet peeves as support players. You know, whether it's carries not running to you during team fights, running away from you in your Geb shields, that kind of stuff. What really grinds your gears when you're playing support?
In ranked, people running away. And then I'll be in comms, especially in NA. I'm at fire, they run the opposite way. Oh, I died. Oh, that god's so OP. I'm like, yeah, my god's OP. I literally could have peeled him off you. It's like, oh, my mistake. And that's what they'll say to me. But if I was a random support,
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what they'd say.
I'm sure it'd be very different. That's
100%.
that's for sure. Jeff, how about for you?
Yeah, it's literally no one warding. As a standard, it is just support warding, which is like for ranked games, obviously competitive is different, but and people running you do not realize in order to live, you have to come to me.
Right.
You can't run towards their fountain while you're in danger and expect help. It's not a thing.
But Jeff, I saw so much space over there.
Yeah, exactly. There was no one over there except the 3 people that were behind me. Right. Or if you turned around and ran right next to them, I would have just saved you. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I guess that's it when people don't turn and burn. They jump over a wall. Callie jumps after him and kills them. You think, well, you knew Callie had jump up.
Yeah.
Right.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Right. It's like all you did is make it so that Kali is now living.
Yeah.
She got to jump away.
Yeah.
She got to jump away.
That's ridiculous.
Neil, what grinds your gears?
2 things. I think when you're playing ranked, you're dual laning, and your jungler comes and 3 splits your wave, and then does your purple, when you're running to it, that's the worst. It's like, oh my god, I don't even need help here. You're winning the lane, and you're invading their purple, and your jungler does your purple. It's like, dude, just and go anywhere else. Come on. Other than that, I would say things that trigger me is when people basically just do something just ridiculously silly. They want you to go in a 3v4, where they have the man advantage, and instead they just go in and they int themselves. I'm like, dude, just go in, int yourself. I was like, this is just no way this is possibly good. Just on the sport, I'm not gonna just go and die for no reason, man. People just expect you to go in and just die. And it's take the foot off the gas, some farm up. There's our lane over there. It's looking pretty
Sounds
juicy.
like Matrix.
Yeah, both these guys are
Yeah,
That's
so
it. I'm
weird.
split push.
Yeah.
What about for you, Trix?
There's 3 things that come to mind, and this even happens in scrim sometimes, okay? Beating Gep shield, okay? So when I have Gep shield up, you don't beat. I'm right, I'm here, my teammate is right there. He gets stunned, I'm Gep shielding, and then I see a beat around here. I'm like, oh, and it happens too often, and also games that I'm just so triggered by it. Also, when I'm Kepri and have ult up, and people go in, and then they use Aegis.
And then the Aegis, yep.
That is a huge tilde for me as well, because I'm I have ultimate up, just go in and die, and
Right.
die, and then the Aegis, and then they ruin the whole thing. And then the last thing is if I'm playing something like Neirumah, for example, and I have the best ultimate, and I see a Ra right behind me with ultimate up and everything, and there's just nothing happening, no follow-up, no help, so going back to the split push.
Going back
After
to the
that.
split push right
Too
away.
alive.
I'm surprised that none of you guys said that when you're 1 foot into mid lane and you see the Giannis clap happen and the whole wave is gone and you got the melee minion.
That's just split push.
Right as you finish Thieves too.
Yep.
I'm coming away, got my Thieves, I'm stacking it. Whoosh, the whole wave's going. You're like, all right, I'll be here for the next one. Don't worry, man. It's all good.
Now you are never getting a solo
Yep.
wave again.
I started just taking the waves before they can get to them, so that's my style.
preemptive
That's not
strike.
really an issue for me at the moment. I
Well,
just
there you
don't
go.
build thieves and I go and solo the waves.
Perfect. Who needs thieves?
Yeah.
They're definitely not Trixtank. Who are some underrated support players that you guys don't think get enough credit? I mean, Neil, you talked a lot about initiators and the ability to peel and not really seeing those players get the recognition they deserve. Doesn't have to be an SPL player. It could be a minor league player, a ranked player, whoever. Who are some supports that come to mind that make more impact than we really talk about on the cast or for the fans?
I think I need a minute to think, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it.
I think for me at the beginning of this year, it was kind of Raffer, to be honest.
Same.
You built energy, and everyone's like, oh, okay, he just gets carried by energy or whatever. And then he comes and does it again with Renegades. That's no coincidence.
Well, he's just getting carried.
And not only then, you see him make sick plays too. I think on energy, he kind of flew under the radar a little bit just because he's not the main playmaker in the meta wasn't for the sport just to be doing all these flashy plays. But MSI especially, you were doing really well. And I don't think a ton of people underrate you, but I think that people just don't understand how hard it is to build 2 separate teams and be as successful.
Right. I also think
Yeah.
it has something to do with your year in Obey. It was kind of like him just doing some weird stuff all the
Yeah.
time. But I think there was a reason behind it because you've been adapting to every single team
Yeah.
you've been in, right?
Yeah.
So you always play to your best ability in the certain team you're in. And if you find the right fit, like with Renegade, you play super well. And he's just seen it. Like, it's the second time now. In NRG, he played super well, and now in Renegades as well. So probably iRaffer, yeah.
Raffer, what happened with the? He said that you were doing some weird stuff with the Obey team. I mean, that was a bit of a.
I can say one
for you.
thing: the back camp invade. I will see it every game, and we would be like, just catch him there, kill him, and then we'd kill him again, and then he'll do it again because it must work out the third time, right?
Well,
And then
I'll
we die
never see it
again.
coming.
So that's
There's
the thought.
no way they catch me a third time.
I would build the most. I'd have the most special builds.
Special
Special.
builds.
So I'd have. I don't even know. There's been so many. Like every item I've bought, every mage item, every tank item. You just gotta try it.
What
Right.
about
Gotta
the
try
4-item starter? What was it?
the
It was
full
all,
starter.
yeah, all the
Swiftwing,
starter
Vanguard.
items. And I
Swiftwing was
just,
fun, man.
I see Raffer having full build at 15 minutes. That's when I know something is wrong.
This guy's
And,
fed.
and I'd win, and you'd be like,
Yeah,
how's this guy win like this? But it's good to hear that, recognition's awesome. I was gonna say me as well, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I feel like all the supports do get the recognition because I see what people do, and supports are really good in the SPL. People peel, people know how to play aggressive. To name one like individual person, I honestly don't know. Like I'm trying to think of one, but I think that all
I think
the
maybe
supports are really
genetics
good.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Because from my understanding, we've been scrimming against them as well, and I hear that he's very Vulcan and a very good leader. Already then, he's a great player, and then you see how he plays and the way he plays, and he's really, really good. And I think that he is the next support to come into the SPL. I really want to see him next year in the SPL because he deserves to be here. I think he has a spot, and I think people should be on the lookout for him for sure.
Yeah, he's been killing it at the minor league level. Jeff, how about for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Raffer, you've just been doing great. So I agree with everything they're saying. But Mineral, things aren't super great, but to come in as a support into the SPL and then play against a ton of good teams is really hard. And I think he's been doing really good with that lately.
Sure.
And I think he has a really big COD pool, which is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's always-
and it's not just like, hey, I came into the SPL and I have a god.
Right.
I think he has. It's pretty solid.
that's awesome.
Yeah, just to that point, I think that reminded me of Pretty Prime support, Breezy, who's come from
Yeah, Breeze.
is it Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, he played
He came
Hans.
from there, won the world championship there, and just came into SMITE and just jumped into the minor league. And I'm not
crazy.
gonna
That's insane.
go ahead and say he's the best, but from playing against him, his mechanics are really good, and he started to do the invade too, and he was doing that well. I kind of think he throws all his marbles, into the basket. He's like, let's just do this strat over and over and over again. But he's new to the game, so
Right.
he impressed me by how fast he adapted to it. And
Yeah, I think
how,
his first minor league game was like he'd only been playing the game for like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Is when he started playing at the second highest level of competitive Smite,
Yeah.
which is really crazy, especially coming from a game like HOTS, where everyone, I don't know if you guys have played it, but XP is shared throughout your whole team.
Yeah, I've played
So
it.
he's playing support where he is not the same level as everybody else. You know what I mean? It's a very different environment for sure. I think that's a really good answer. We got to get into it a little bit there, but I want to have you guys describe each other's play styles because I think all of you bring something pretty unique to the table. And we'll start talking about Raffer since we already kind of dipped our toe into it. Trix, when you're playing against Raffer, what kind of separates him from other supports?
in scrims of the SPL.
Yeah, that's how I was just gonna ask. In scrims or in SPL? Because scrims is a different matter. No,
Why
I
not
think he's just all around the boat. I think he's been doing everything. Like right now, you see a more normal and safe start with the Renegade start, of course, the speed buff. That is a very safe start, but they do it very well. So I think as what we've seen in SPL, it's mostly like a safe start, late game characters, very supportive with the picks, Kumbhakana, Terra, the Gap, and so on.
Gap
All
Ray
these
too.
picks. So that's the place that we've seen in SPL, and nothing more I will say.
Nothing else. I mean, that's not really always been his strategy, right?
He
I mean,
will
you've been
still do
playing
the
against him for a
weird
long
back.
time.
Oh, he still does the back camp. So the back camp invade is still a thing. if he sees it. If he sees
careful,
it.
backhands.
Well, Cherry takes all of them already for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll take the other ones.
Yeah, you'll be on simultaneous back camps. Neil, from watching Raffer, because you haven't played against him as much as a guy like Trix has, what have you seen from his play style?
I think kind of ringing the same bell there. Just kind of does everything really well. He picks aggressive things like Horus, and he plays those very well. He picks stay-at-home stuff like Geb, and he plays those very well. I think just a really smart player, has a really good understanding of what his job is in team fights. Like, does he need to engage? Does he need to peel? And what stage of the game, too? So that can be kind of confusing. Like, in your level 5, are you the one who has to go in first and engage? And then when you hit level 12, or maybe the one you have to come back and peel. And he always seems like he's doing those kind of things, right? Knowing what his job is and just having a really all-around a good understanding of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff, you're probably the NA support that's played against Raffer the most throughout the years. How is he now compared to how he was back in the day?
So right now, I think when like I imagine playing against you, it's more of consistency, right? It's not like these giant boom bust plays where it kind of was more so in the past where, cool, I'm gonna all in here and my team's gonna follow up and kill you off of it, but I can just die on the spot. Now it's like this is really good, and I'm just gonna be taking these good things. Like it's pretty rare that I'm seeing you make those older plays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was kind of like the scene was immature then,
Yeah.
all the players weren't as good then, obviously including myself. I used to go, I'll go in, go carry, can it? Have fun.
Right. Yeah. When I think of your older play style, Raffer, I think the word that comes to mind is like disrespectful. I felt like you didn't give a fuck about what was going
Mine's
on.
idiot,
I think he still is. Sorry. He's still that kind of idiot somewhere,
Sure.
But
It's
now,
in there.
It's your
but
turn
now,
soon.
but wait, now he actually has a team that is like, how do we like collapse and how do we play around that? And they play so well around it. You see like Raffer on the back camp in the left side, and then you see Chariot diving tier 2 in the dual lane, right? Like they know what to do around it. And I think that's why he's doing so good right now as well, because his play style, he's gone back for it a little bit, but he still does a little bit, but now they play around it, which I think is really, really good. And that's why he's shining so hard right now.
I mean, Raffer, you are the undisputed most successful Smite player ever with Energy and now with Renegades. How do you think your play style has evolved over the years?
It's perfect, it couldn't be. No, I think I agree with Trix. I have my idiot plays, and they're still there. Like I'll never get rid of them, and my team will laugh about it and troll. And it's having a team that will accept that about you, or they'll do the same thing on the opposite side of the map. Only one idiot can die, right?
Yeah, they can't kill us all.
Exactly. And my time on Obey was kind of like a time. It was really good. It was like amazing. It was nice to play with Prime, especially. I really enjoyed my time with him. And to work around him kind of felt like how I work with Dades now. Like nothing changed. Work together like glue. We stick together and we just play as a team. And I enjoy it. I think that's the main thing about it. I really enjoy playing with Dades. Feel like we don't even talk. Like the plays we do, we don't even talk. I'll say, can I go in? And he won't say anything, and then I'll just go in and he'll pre-on her because I know that he's heard me and he kind of knows how I play because I play similar to him at times.
Sure, absolutely. It certainly brought you guys a lot of success. Jeff, we'll start with you when talking about Neil because you definitely have the most experience playing against him as another NA support. What is Neil's play style like from the opposite side?
So it's kind of not like almost the opposite of Raffer's, right? Like I would push you more towards like a Mike and a Roar type player where you are looking for the like hyper aggressive plays and to play that bully at almost all points in time, right? Like from what I remember and what I've seen is like you're RDO and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna RDO through whoever the hell walks in. And that's what you're gonna do, right?
Going home to base here from your back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my! I remember in duo lanes, like just getting back. Stop. Like,
Oh, so
like
Neil's a
we're
bad man.
like we're here, like Barra's backing, like dash through, like RDO through. I'm like, yeah, I'll back in 5 seconds, I guess. Like, I get it. I'll go to tier 2. Like, I get it.
Wow, way to expose Neil as a terrible human being.
It's the right play to do, honestly. It's not wrong.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
not right. I'm just saying it makes you an asshole. You know what I mean?
But,
Raffer, what have you seen from Neil during his career, kind of from afar?
I would say the highlight play that I remember is when you were Fafnir, and I'm pretty sure I was Terra, and I was going to kill, it was either Paul or someone else at mids. And as I dashed into my 2, you stunned me like midway through. I was dashing into my 3, and you actually saved him and killed me. And that was like, like holy shit, he actually outplayed me really hard. Like sometimes it happens in rank, you think you weren't meant to do that, but you were meant to do that, and it was like kind of like blow me out the water. So I was like, oh, this guy's for real. And luckily we won that set because I would have been really bummed out about getting outplayed that hard. So I'd say you're definitely a playmaker, and you know how to peel too. So I'd say you've kind of got my playstyle, and you play like similar gods, except for I probably play a different few unique ones, but you play more of like Fafnir and gods like that too. I can't play Fafnir, so
We made the hammer wider, Raffer, not that long ago. Maybe give him another shot.
Did you?
Yeah, why don't know?
I didn't even know.
Sounds like we know what they're screwing with.
It's a little easier now. At
Is
least.
it?
How about for you,
Might give it a
Trix?
go.
I think he's. I mean, we've scrimmed SK a lot since we've been here. I think he's a very, very aggressive support, but I think he has a different playstyle as well. But I think as of like what we've seen, I think he's a very overall aggressive, good, calculated, and playmaker. He want to be the ones making the difference in the early game, and that's what you need right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Neil, you're especially on this table, one of the younger players to join into the SPL, just in terms of experience. How different was it, and how much did you think you had to change your play style from coming from the lower levels of competition to playing against guys like this?
I don't think you should be changing your playstyle. I think it's not really something you want to be looking to do. If you change your playstyle, it's kind of like what brought you to the SPL to begin with. So I think there's definitely a lot to learn. There's a lot of different playstyles in the SPL, and all the sports are really good. And I think that just the big thing coming into the league was just trying to absorb as much as you can, because even today I still when I'm watching other sports play, I'm like, that was so good. I should be looking to do that. Or even in team fights, just forgetting what role you're supposed to be playing. Like, oh, I forgot that I hit like this amount of time in the game. I should be peeling now and not going in. Like stuff like that. The game is so intricate that sometimes you forget. And I think just coming to SPL for sure, just keeping your play style, but still trying to learn from everyone, because there's so many good play styles, so many good supports, and just being smart about the game and just trying to understand what your role is during the game is super important, I think, as a sport, especially coming into the league.
I mean, the kind of public perception is that supports have the biggest brains, they do the most thinking. But I honestly do think it's usually true. Like, I really feel like a lot of supports carry the more cerebral part of the game.
You kind of have to start the fight and make sure it's a good fight. And if that doesn't happen, then you lose the game. So if you don't have the big brain to figure out and calculate every single spell in the game, then you're not going to win.
Whereas ADCs are sitting there cross-eyed left clicking. They've got the easy job. Let's go over Jeff now. Raffer, we'll start with you. Kind of the opposite end. You guys have played against each other a lot for EU NA competitors. What's it been like playing against Jeff all these years?
I'd say at the beginning it was harder, obviously, because the scene wasn't. I was bad back then, and I'd say you were really good, and you kind of had like the meta, and you could buy what would the relic be called? Like it wasn't Shell. It gave you prots and something else.
Wasn't it Shell?
Was it Shell?
I'm pretty sure Shell, because Shell used to give you the mitigations and the prots.
Mits and prots, yeah. At the beginning it would give you prots, right? And I played against you, and I had the hog, and I was like, I can't go hog against this guy, like adapting or Dimmy, you buy it. I'm not doing it because he's just outplaying me. He'll just shell his full team, and I'm just sat there with a hog, just scratching my head. And was like, can't kill him. We're putting everything into Jeff. But then as time's progressed, I think it's come more and more out of your meta. And, you're starting to adjust slowly, as you do as a human. But I think your time will come. It's just, you just need one more meta change. And I think, you'll be there. If you kind of like force like a lane meta, then I think you'd be popping. There's that, and I think you're really smart, good shot caller. And I think that's a really good attribute that you bring to a team, the shot calling.
Jeff's communication, always a legendary part of the game.
Yeah, very legendary.
Trix, you've also played a lot against Jeff for an EU competitor.
Yeah.
What's it been like?
It's been good. We've had some nice duels over the years. I think I would describe Jeff's playstyle as he's the Guardian player. He's the typical support player. Like, if you open a book and that's the support player, that's Jeff, Like, he plays the Guardians. He always plays the meta Guardians that's really, really strong and that can do a lot for the team. As I've said, as in this split, it has been very aggressive support, which just like it's been tough. But I think that's his playstyle. He just gotta be the Guardians, and if you get to that late game stage, then he's gonna be as fearful as any other. You know, like right now, for example, like if you pick Herc, yes, it's good early game, but if you get late game versus JeffHindla's Fafnir, he will probably do 10 times his work, right?
Sure.
So yeah.
Makes sense to me. Neil, you played against him a lot on the North American side of things. How has it been playing against Jeff? What's his play style like?
I think they've done a pretty good job describing, like, very much a stay-at-home support player. Like, has the Guardians, has all those on lockdown, really good at them. Lots of Gebs, Sylvanas, stuff like that. I think that for sure he definitely does better in the lane metas. And I think that one of the things that he does that a lot of people kind of flame you for sometimes, I guess, is just that you're so selfless. Like, if other people want farm, like, sure, I'll just rotate. I'll make sure you're safe to farm that wave. I'm not getting any farm. It sucks for me, but if the team's gonna win, that's what it takes, right? So. Sure. Definitely a really selfless, really good, just Guardian player. Been around the scene a long time, has a lot of game knowledge as well. Good shot calling.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, do you think these are? Do you agree with what everyone's saying that you like? You know,
Yep.
Would you just play Geb Sylvanas every game if you could?
100%. Just first pick myself. It's fine.
Absolutely. And with the play, you made a hot play the other week, saving Andy until he
was sick,
walked back into some damage. But that's not your fault.
I did my best.
Nothing you can do about that. It's time to go over tricks now, and I imagine that Raffer has been waiting for this moment.
Ready to bite in me.
We'll let you kick us off, Raffer. You've been playing against tricks for a long time.
He sucks. Playstyle bad.
Playstyle bad.
I'd say he's definitely one of the biggest idiots that's progressed over time.
Oh, there we go.
To a bigger idiot. Come on,
Come
you
on
baited
now.
yourself into that.
There's so many nice things about you.
But you've always got this thing about you where I'm kind of intimidated in a way, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to screw my jungler over? And then I feel like I have to do that. And then next minute, you're in solo laner, killing my solo lane. I'm like, I can't be in two places at once, guys. Like, you have to use your brain. He's like, well, you didn't call where he was. I'm like, I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's going to be. I can't predict him. Is it probably you, PBM, and Aurora, the three players I can't predict, like, at all. You're a bit random, and it works. I think randomness is good and bad, but it's mainly good in your case.
Jeff, how about from your point?
Yeah, I think Trix has a really good mix. He'll play Nausea Cirque, no problem. He'll start every fight. He'll sit in the jungle. He'll pick people. And he'll just play, Geb and the sit-at-home Guardians too. Like, it's really hard to play against Trix, or at least pick and ban against him, because he'll just play anything and it's fine. And Capri, yeah, right.
That's been the new hotness for you, for sure.
Banned every game lately. I don't know what's going on.
Well, maybe if you save lots of people, you could play them. You ever think about that? Neil, what do you see when you watch Trix play?
It's kind of like he's one of the more, for sure, like, carry sport players. Like, he'll, like against us in the first phase, picked Erlang, they picked an Afro with him in mid, and it's like, just carry the game from support. It's like, who does that? Like, what team does that where you're just like, support player, like, just drag me to victory, you'll be huge, you'll one-shot everyone. Like, what the hell's going on? So I think he definitely shines the most on these carry characters. He can make a lot of plays, a really good playmaker. Can definitely play the safe stuff like Kepri and whatnot as well, and does a really good job of that. But I think that where he shines most, just because it looks good, it's on these really carry Nejas, Erlangs, pretty aggressive player, but can also just play any style. And definitely good.
Trix, I think the big narrative that I've heard a lot from the other casters and that kind of stuff throughout the years is you had this big identity as the aggressive guy. You want to play the Warriors, the Guan Yu, the Wukong, whatever. But do you agree with that? Is that still where you think your play style is, or do you think it's changed?
No, I think, like, back in the day when I won the launch with Wukong and all that, everybody was like, oh, he's only aggressive. He can only play these aggressive characters, blah, blah, blah. And I honestly could only play that because, like, when it came to the next tournament, I couldn't play Gep and all these meta characters. And I was really bad at it, but I think the last 3 years, honestly, 2 years, have probably been where I can play whatever I really need to be playing. If the meta comes that I can play Nisha and Erlang and so on, thank God, like, I love that. Like, that's how I play ranked, that's how I want to play if I can. But I still can play the Guardian. So I think it's pretty precise. I like Kepri, but then again, I like Erlang, So, like, it's two of the different kind of characters, and Kepri just stay back. So I just do whatever the team feels is good and whatever strategy we need to win.
You like playing Kepri as long as your carries don't Aegis.
Right.
It's one of them. I don't mind playing Kepri, I just don't want the enemy to play it. That's the thing.
That's the big thing. Guys, where the newest character that's really taken over support has been Horus. I mean, Raffer, you played it a ton at Midseason Invitational and that kind of stuff. What makes him so attractive as a Guardian? Is it just the CC? Is it the early game aggression you get from him? What? Because from my perspective, it's like in the early game he one-shots me and does a bunch of damage, but he doesn't have that fall off that say Erlong sometimes can in the late game or
Oh,
something.
Erlang
like
is
that.
OP late game.
Okay, well, yeah,
he's
still
bad in the
CC,
mid
bad-
game. He is
yeah.
insane late game.
Yeah,
So-
okay, bad example.
Yeah,
but
bad
like
example.
some
I'd
of
say
these,
more of like Hercules, like
Hercules or
Or pop-
Cirquette,
pop
they
early
get Lono's
game.
mask and eventually we just ignore. You
Exactly.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, but then Horus is gonna start peeling. He's gonna start CCing people. So, oh, we're about to kill this guy. Oh, never mind. Horus just ulted him out randomly.
Yeah.
And then you have some counter plays like Akumba may ult someone to then it mistimes from the Horus ult. There's loads of outplay factors. But I just think Horus has way too many strengths, and especially coming as a warrior.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the Pon said a lot when Horus was getting released, like this, we want this to be a Guardian. And I do like, half of me thinks, wow, that was really successful. He doesn't see any play in solo lane. And compared to other warrior supports like Erlong, I don't get one shot nearly as often. But then I'm like, but wait, I kind of do get one shot all the time. Like, I don't know. Do you guys feel like he is he a physical Guardian in your minds, or is he still kind of that warrior identity?
He is for sure a Guardian, I would say. You have to play it like that. Like, you have to be the peeler. And I think what makes him good is the fact that now he is a warrior, so he is just better than all Guardians in the early game. So you have the potential to have a sick early game. But it also transfers really good to the late game. It's a different style because you're kind of single target oriented. You don't really have a multiple CC ultimate or whatever. But you can just bait so much time. So like if they have an all-in combo and you survive that, you've won the fight. If you just survive for longer than 10 seconds, then you win the fight because he has so much peeling, so much sustain, and so much outplay potential with the free. You can be like Kraken, okay, free out, if you're not in the cribble, of course. But you can make them outplays that I think that makes him really, really interesting and good.
You know what I think might be the most broken thing Horus does is when you just sit in mid lane during a Phoenix siege and then you just ult and you just go to one of the side Phoenixes.
Oh,
How do you? Is there any defense to that, by the way? Because I've thought about it really hard, and you have to just try and kill them before you pick somewhere to land, right? That's the only thing you
You
can
just
do.
have to be ready for it. Like if you know it's gonna come, they're ulting. Just be ready for the situation. If you react slowly, that's when it's bad. If you can react quickly and you can be on top of them, sometimes having your whole team land on a Phoenix isn't that good because you're all landing this tiny circle, right? So,
Sure. Yeah, I guess.
That-
If you
no,
just
Smite
gotta
did
do
it
the
against
bracket.
us
Yeah.
this week. They
Yeah.
did it against us, and
hard, yeah.
we're like, just defend mid, boys, and we're like, they're ulting, and they were like pretty far away. We were like, okay, they're gonna go away or something now when they see us all here. And then they just went to the right Phoenix, got it within 2 seconds, and we're like, okay.
No,
It's
every
tough,
time I'm
yeah.
casting it, I'm like, well, that's that. What do you do?
But
I don't know.
I think if you're aware of it, it's really risky because you can, as he said, like you're in this circle, so you're just gonna get blown up immediately. So it is risky if you see it coming, but if you don't, you can make so many outplays with that ultimate. So it's hard to predict.
No doubt. Jeff, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, no, I just pretty much agree. If you don't see it coming or you're not ready for it, you're gonna lose to it.
Yeah.
But if you see it coming, your mage is hitting 5 players.
Yeah, that seems pretty good too, I suppose.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite non-Guardian, non-Warrior, non-Circuit, Naja, like non-traditional support picks? Neil, we'll start with you because you're the master. Yeah, go ahead and list them
Ravana's
off.
pretty awesome. Hachimon and Scotty are pretty good. Chernobog has some potential. Just saying
Why
those.
does Turnabog have
What about
potential?
those targets?
Because you can go into walls, you bait, you have a global ult, you're like Athena, but a little bit different. You go on the enemy instead. It's pretty good.
It's a little bit different where like Athena has
Yeah.
mitigation and
I-
kind of damage.
I've been
whereas, like,
trying Discordia support. I call it a red buff Discordia. You build a Pythags first and you fall around your top damage. And then if it's like a physical and it's an auto attack, or maybe you get a Shoguns too, has some potential. So
are you guys writing all this down or?
yeah.
I mean,
in
it
ranked,
sounds so
in ranked, you can do whatever you want. To be honest, in competitive, you're a little bit more like you need to have some sort of CC probably. But I think there's a lot of really cool picks you can do in
I
ranked.
mean,
and if you're
Discordia
just
has a root.
yeah, exactly,
cripple.
yeah,
Just saying.
immunity frames.
Seems good to me. Trix, you got any favorite non-traditional supports?
Are we talking in the SPL or?
No, I mean obviously no one's playing Turnabog support in the
Oh,
SPL.
like
Things are just,
very
all around.
untraditional.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. My thing is Morgan and Nua.
Okay.
I have
Oh, Nua.
played.
Man,
it
you are a big
so
genetics
much.
fan, huh? The Nuwa
Oh,
support.
Nuwa support's
He
so
played that in
played
the
no.
minor league game,
I
by the
so
way.
good.
I played.
What? No, wait, how
The
is it
root,
good?
the root is so good.
I've
Oh
been
my
playing
God,
Nua
it's
for a long time in the support. A
Yeah.
long time. That's all I'm saying. And he has so many. Like he has a
slap.
stun. If you
Yeah.
2 blink in,
Yeah.
2 free big AOE stun. Okay.
This guy gets
And then everybody is gonna use their spells, and in that second you ultimate, and then you juke all their spells. All their spells are down. Your team engages, win the fight.
Wait a minute. What if you went Staff of Mirrodin? Okay.
Okay.
You place your clay soldiers. You
Okay.
ult. then you get down, you stun one clay soldier, and then stun the other one because they'll go to different targets.
Did you think about that before you said?
Just right now. That's just I'm getting
Got
going.
potential.
Yeah.
I'll show you down.
Yeah, okay.
Good strategy.
Maybe
I'm gonna
write it
try
down.
it.
Maybe I'll try it.
Jeff, outside of the Apollo support, the infamous for you.
Well, you can fly around and or still apply on the ground. It's really good. Probably Nem and a Wheelix, honestly. Like with Nem, you just blink, run at carries, or you just kill tanks. They really can't stop it, and you're not going to die because you're pretty much full tank. And then for some reason, I've always a Wheelix support is just fun. You just you pop your ult and then go in, and then you're not going to kill them, but you're going to be really annoying, and Wheelix is blinking on them. So they're going to turn on you.
You use your ult first to make sure the best part of your support kit is gone.
Yeah, 100%.
But at least you're gonna.
Everyone's gonna turn on you, and you're not gonna die. You're gonna feather step like four spells and then walk
Oh my
away.
God,
It's gonna
that
be
sounds
great.
sick.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. That's insane. Let's just list the best case scenario for all these picks. That sounds
Yeah,
good to me.
it happens every time.
Every single time. Raffer, you mentioned the old Thanatos support, right?
I'd say a Wheelix is good. From what you said, obviously, we build damage boots, ult,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
just destroy everyone. Thanatos, I don't really like those sort of gods anymore. I've kind of moved towards like Rat and Morrigan. They're usually like my side picks.
Sure.
I've tried them in scrims too.
I'm actually kind of
always-
surprised we haven't seen Morgan support at an SPL
People,
level.
my team don't want to let me play it. I am the best Morgan player in the world, better than Seahorse. Screw him, honestly. Like I am the best Morgan player, and my team won't let me play it.
That's just unlucky.
That's just sad. Like
I just
straight
don't
up.
know how to build Mori as a support. I feel like I have to go full damage.
I have a sick build on him, but I can't remember it completely. But
I think
it is sick.
Okay, but listen to this. Like your team's like, we don't have any engage, we don't have any front line. You just turn into their engage in front line, and it's problem solved.
You can stun one of the backline, force the beat, and you can go into their guardian and stun him again. And
Right.
AoE whatever he has, right? Get all the whatever.
Seems OP to me. I don't know. I'm
Can be
with
bad.
you guys there.
Can be bad.
Are you begging your damage players to play Isis support? Because I feel like among characters that aren't Guardians, she makes the most sense.
It's really good in my opinion, but it's why would you put it on the support when a ADC can have it in one shot?
Yeah,
everyone?
I feel like that's the only thing that's holding it back right now.
My team is useless, so when Isis got reworked, nobody wanted to play her because they're lazy as hell. So I was like, well, pick it to me every game. Like I've been playing Isis support in rank for a long time. So I just picked it every single game because nobody wanted it, and it was the most fun scrims of my life back then. And now it's ruined because I can't play it anymore.
And now they're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Like Herwin's in long lane, so he wants it, and it's just like no.
So
more
can't get
fun
it
for
anymore.
you. No more fun for you, unfortunate. Neil, am I going full tank on Hachiman support, or what's
Nope.
the deal?
You go attack speed boots are pretty good on them. So you go Guardian's Blessing, I go attack speed boots. Then I go Thebes because they're busted. And then you go Blackthorn Hammer, some cooldown, some health, that gives you a little bit of damage.
Okay.
Then you go Pridwin because you can ride in with a shield. With
all the procs I have,
Makes sense.
right?
Then you explode too. And then you can literally build whatever you want. Like Ichavool is really good on these like hunter sports because when you box someone, you steal their attack speed.
Seems
You
good.
know? Yeah. So that's usually as far as I get in the game's usually over. I mean, from that point you can build whatever you want. Doesn't really matter.
Because
I won,
Right,
obviously.
okay.
Like I don't know why you have to ask that. It's pretty
Well,
obvious.
I wasn't going to.
Like after the
but
Prid one,
you
it's just
said
kind
it.
of over.
Right. It's
To be
kinda-
honest though, in ranked, people like kind of forget your sports on. You ride in on your horse and they all turn on you. And you're like, this is actually so good. Like your jungler comes dunks them.
Perfect.
That's some sneaky potential.
Any before we get going, any tips for support players? Because I feel like that's the role that I get the most requests for. Like, how do I improve my support play? Trix, you seem super excited about this.
No,
You
I
take
get
the
this
lead.
question
Such a
too
tough
much, and I
question.
have no idea what to say. Like, don't suck. I guess. Like, I don't know.
Nailed it right there. Guys, thank you so much for watching Roll Q. Again, make sure you let us know. We got mids and solos left to go, so let me know which one you want to see next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.